afternoon, and thank you for spending your afternoon, your Monday busy afternoon with us. As Gary said, I have been hosting or moderating some of the Asia CEO events, whether it's physically or online for quite some time. In fact, since the day it started. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the co-founder of Asia CEO and also one of the first few investors in this group, besides holding my full-time job as a managing director of a fund, FICUS VC. Today I would like to actually introduce our newly minted charter president for Malaysia, Mr. Chan. Mr. Chan has actually been in the fintech industry for a long time, almost 2 decades. So I'll let him introduce himself. So Asia CEO started about 4.5 years ago. It was basically just a community meetup. And then we grew bigger and bigger. And I think now, Gary just mentioned to me that we have 22 chapters across the globe.
So that's why
yeah. So we started this society or this organization. Sorry, guys, just do a little bit of housekeeping. If you're not speaking, can you just mute your mic? Thank you. So we started this group because we felt that the higher you grow, the more lonelier you are, and even CEOs need help. Needs friendship, and most of all, we need to basically build a community that is strong across the border. And this so-called friendship or relationship actually blossomed really during COVID, because we actually helped most of our members across the globe during this difficult time. So just to run through the itinerary for today. So in the interest of time, we only have an hour. So I'll invite our Malaysia chapter committee members to do a self-introduction. Just 1 minute each. I know you guys have a long list of CVs to talk about yourself or your organization, but we'll just allocate one minute to each of you. And then I will then continue with questions related, one question each related to your industry or your personal field. And then we can save the last 10-15 minutes for Q&A from the floor. All right, so without further ado, may I invite Mr. Chan, our chapter president, to introduce himself. Mr. Chan?
Okay, first of all, thank you very much, the Asia CEO organizing committee, especially Gary and also the co-founder, Rina. It's really an honor to be part of the journey. And I think this journey is very exciting because we are gathering all the CEO around the globe. Let me introduce myself. My full name is Chan Kok Long, and I'm one of the co-founder in a payment gateway company called iPay88. Now, iPay88 is the leading payment company in Southeast Asia. We have strong presence in Philippines, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, as well as Cambodia. And over the years, we have seen that the digital transformation has been taking place in Southeast Asia, particularly in Malaysia. And digital payment is one of the key disruptor of all this digital transformation. And I also see in the central bank fully controlled PayNet advisory forum members. And from there, I actually able to actually help the central bank to actually see the view of the user as well as the player within the payment ecosystem. I'm looking forward being the chapter president in Malaysia to grow Asia CEO in Malaysia as one of the leading chapter. All right, with that, thank you so much, Rina.
Thank you, Mr. Chan. So if you guys need a payment gateway, need a fintech ecosystem, Mr. Chan is the person you should look for. Next, we have Brett. Hi, Brett. Are you there?
Hi. Yes.
Hi.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. How are you?
Good.
Long
good.
time no see. So can we have
Indeed.
a 1-minute introduction about yourself and your organization?
Yep, sure. So my name's Brandt Hawgood. I'm the CEO for both Asia and Europe for a company called IC Frith. We also trade as Brightside Co. In some of the regions. So we are a digital and device protection and warranty insurance broker and TPA in the region. We're also an insurer in Europe. And we mainly look after warranty product here in Asia. We're across 8 different regions across the region and in 8 different markets. And we work with most of the larger insurance companies as well, partnering with them to provide TPA services as well. So I've been in Malaysia now for 3 years. Absolutely love it, even despite the COVID challenges that we've had for most of the time here. But it's been a fantastic time, and I've got a small family who absolutely love being here as well, which is fantastic. Apart from Brightside and IC Frith, I'm also a board member and advisory member for a number of technology-focused businesses around the region as well, including WildTech, who are an Australian ERP and technology solutions provider who are launching up here in the region. A company called Urim, who do mobile content management systems, mainly focused around compliance. Reciprio, which is a decisioning and fraud tool for insurance companies. And a consulting firm called JabTech, who are operating in the region as well, mainly consulting into insurtech space as well. So plenty keeping me busy at the moment, but you know, Brightside obviously is my main focus most of the time.
Right, thank you, Brett. I think you and Mr. Chan has a lot to talk to, because from what I understand, he told me that you know, he is most of his clients in the insurance space, you know, are using payment gateway, IP88. So I guess both of you can catch up for a drink after this. Right, next we have Dato Dennis Chua. He's going to talk about one of the buzzword today about his EV company. Dennis, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Thank you,
Hi.
Rina. Thank you, Gary. Hi. Good to catch up with all of you, especially Chan. I'm right now currently running a company called Acclimo. Acclimo stands for Eco Life Mobility. We develop and manufacture electric two-wheelers, electric motorbikes or electric scooter. Currently, we are only in Malaysia. Got the approval from the Road Transport Authority to legally able to run on the road. I'm very much focusing on B2B or B2G. When we talk about last mile delivery, I'm trying to provide the vehicle either in a subscription base or in leasing to the riders to be able to use the vehicles for their last mile delivery. One of the key for the deliveries is to be able to increase the income, to reduce the maintenance of their combustion bike by using electric. And one of the key point that I would like to also contribute is on the environment. Environment is when you do a 300 kilometer on our scooter, we are directly able to save like 18 kilo of CO2, and each bike we are looking at half a ton per year. So that is Acclimo, and happy to share if there's any question. Thank you, Rina.
Thank you, Dennis. We have Alex Fong. Hi, Alex. This is your first time I'm seeing you.
Yeah, this is my
Nice
first
to-
time. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Gary, for inviting me to the community, as well as you know, Rina for moderator today. Well, I own a company in Alliance, which focus on 2 products currently, which is point of sale system, which run on subscription, and as well as Mr. Chan's merchant too. You know, if we talk about big posts. And then we have another product which focus on the valet parking, which both runs on subscription based. And currently we have footprints in Singapore, and we are try to, as well as Australia, and we try to launch our product in Vietnam, probably in a month or 2. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Alex. We have Dato Munirah. Hi, Dato Munirah. Are you there?
Hi, Rina. Hi,
Hi.
hello.
Good
Good
to see you.
afternoon. Yeah, same here. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for having us and hosting this event. As introduced, my name is Munirah. I'm the founder and the CEO of Brandt International. I started this company about 18 years ago. We are primarily very much a company that we offer digital transformation consulting work. But certainly the other part of our business is we actually help our clients to deliver consistent customer experience and customer support and deliver business value through outsourcing model. So today we employ about 1,000 workforce, as well as leveraging on AIs and RPAs to actually manage both the front end as well as the back office activities. And the markets we serve today primarily represents obviously Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, as well as in China. So that's a little bit about myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Dato Munirah. I think, first of all, I think it's nice to see a woman CEO here, because one of our challenges is to really, we talk about ESG, we talk about inclusion. Maybe we need to sit down and perhaps, chat about how do we go and, ask more women to join us, right?
We need a women chapter.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. Next, I have Dato Howard Chew. Howard, are you here? Dato Howard, are you here? Okay. I think Dato Howard is not here yet. Perhaps Janice?
Rina, Janice
Yes.
said she has some urgent
Oh, okay.
to handle. So,
No worries.
Yeah. I think William is here.
Yes. William, I actually keep the best for last, so he's always on the last of my list. So William, my longtime friend.
Hi, Rina. Hi, Gary. And of course, all my friends, Munirah, Janice, and Kok Long as well. And great to have a president in Malaysia now, because as customary, the president always have to buy drinks, lunch, dinner, right?
Yes.
So looking forward to our first outing. Okay. So no excuse now, because Malaysia has opened up its borders. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my name is William Du. I'm from Engineers House, corporate advisory firm based in Kuala Lumpur. I also run a family office that invests in vertical farm, solar, and also fintech. All right. So currently we are expanding our portfolio companies alongside all our clients' company as well. So my day-to-day job is actually fundraising. Okay, of course, methodology of fundraising can be through IPO. So we've done one spec and two working in progress. Okay, and also looking high and low for a potential target for our first telco spec. All right, so that is keeping us busy for now. And on the investment side, we also started a new VC firm. Okay, called Eastech Assets, that will focus on retail and logistic tech, all right, focusing in Malaysia for start, and then we'll expand it to Southeast Asia, right? So looking forward to hear from everyone, and of course, every day is a new learning day for us. All right, thank you very much. Back to you, Rina.
Thank you, William. Congratulations on the new VC firm. Now I know where I can pass my investee companies to. So I'll be talking to you. So thank you all committee members. I think there are 3 of our committee members who extend their apologies because they couldn't make it today, but I'm sure when Mr. Chan hosts a dinner, all of us will be there. So I will just probably bring this conversation forward to some of the key questions that we always ask CEOs, especially post-pandemic or endemic times now. So I will direct my first question to Mr. Chan. No particular order. I just thought that I'll just ask the president, so we put him on a hot seat first. So Mr. Chan, from research, right, we know that IP88 is a leader in a payment gateway, and you guys have actually started. You and your partners have started a company for around 2 decades, and data also showed that you guys actually transact more than $2 billion, 2 billion ringgit a month, right? And I know that you started as a payment gateway, but fintech is such a buzzword right now. And I believe that you guys are moving towards or beyond just a payment gateway. Can you share with us, right? What is iPay88's bigger vision beyond payment gateway? You have 2 minutes to share to answer this question. Thank you.
Okay. First and foremost, the digital payment is actually at the infancy stage. There are a lot of room to grow. A lot of people might mistaken that digital payment is only in the e-commerce space, but in actual fact, the big transaction volume actually comes from the bricks and mortar or the traditional businesses. For example, like Brandt, the insurance industry, we capitalize 70% of the insurance company in Malaysia. And all these insurance companies, they themselves already have current businesses that have more than transaction a year per insurance company, more than 500 million to 1 billion ringgit. Just imagine this company need the digital payment simply because it actually needs to collect money over the digital space. Because the cost of collecting physical payment is more and more expensive, and is easier for user to actually pay online or digital space. So as far as iPay is concerned, the post-pandemic, we are very, very excited simply because we are excited, and also we feel very blessed because payment industry is one of the payment that industry that not being affected by the COVID-19. That's the blessing part. In fact, the last 2-3 years, we actually grow to our record in terms of transaction as well as merchant-based growth. And of course, moving forward, the digital payment will be adopted by more and more vertical industry, right? Industry from even property development, education, and so on and so forth. Of course, to answer Rina your questions, payment as business as usual is always there, and the room to grow is still very huge. As I said, digital payment in Malaysia is only about 10% of the total transaction in the country. So there are still 90% market to be captured. And because over the years, being the market leader, we already have a very substantial merchant base. And that actually create an ecosystem. And this ecosystem cover almost the entire business community in Malaysia. So what we are doing that is we are capitalizing this opportunity by setting up a new business direction, what we call beyond payment. One of the areas that we are definitely interested to go in is providing the digital banking services to this ecosystem. At the end of the day, business community need some form of innovative financial services, like for example, the entire supply chain. They need a lot of innovative financing. Now, the traditional banks couldn't provide many type of innovative financial products simply because sometimes it's regulated by regulation, and sometimes it's because of the size of loan, as well as the knowing your customer process is very tedious and costly. So digital bank is one aspect that we're going to focus. You will start hearing from iPay88 able to provide a micro loan or even factoring or supply chain loan and so on and so forth. And besides digital bank, we are also pivoting the entire fintech. As long as there's an opportunity for us to give value to our customer base. Now, at the end of the day, is the customer base. We have huge customer base. as per your research, we are now transacting more than 2.5 billion a month, and it's growing almost double digit on a quarterly basis. Now, and in terms of number of transactions, we are transacting more than 40 over million transactions a month. So the total transaction, we are talking about close to 500 to 600 million transactions. Now that a lot of data we gather from all over the industries. And with all this data, we see there's a lot of value that we can add in to provide a lot of services pivoting the fintech. So what we are doing now is moving forward, we will work with many communities to provide them super apps as well as the marketplace. At the end of the day, we want to give value to all these community members where they can buy at a much lower price simply because of the group buying concept. And yeah, we continue to look into alternative beside payment. Okay. So the pandemic is actually speed up the adoption of digital payment. So a lot of opportunity, and I see that among Malaysia CEO chapter, I literally can work with everyone, especially Brandt and even William and the rest of the members. Of course, dinner will be host anytime. Dinner and drinking is my second. I mean, is my habit. I will definitely more than welcome to host a dinner so that we can meet and explore opportunity and network among ourselves. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Chan. You know, I think it's a great ecosystem that you guys have actually built. We look forward to see how we can work together because, like you said, you know, it's about providing benefits or added value to community members. Asia CEO, we've got 14,000 members. Perhaps we could look into working together. So next, can we have Brett? Brett, I know, like Mr. Chan said, some of the industries actually thrive during the pandemic. Some people lose money, some people make money. Could you share with us during this crisis? I know that during pandemic, some organizations actually, they pull together, some of them actually fall apart. How was your experience running your organization? Was it challenging? Because insurance is sort of a critical industry
Yeah, so it's been a bit of both, to be honest, from our point of view. We've been very, very fortunate that our industry, or our niche within the industry has been quite strong through the pandemic. We've been quite lucky because a lot of our business in Asia relies on customers buying electronic devices. So working from home, schooling online, people not being able to travel, so having a little bit more money and spending it on a new TV or something like that has been very good for us. So we've been quite lucky in terms of our business. But like everyone, we've had some challenges with staff. Obviously, a long time ago now, it feels that 2 years ago when the first MCO hit, we weren't really prepared and we had to send everybody home. And we've spent a lot of time over the last couple of years supporting a lot of our staff being able to work from home. We've seen, we've seen new staff start, we've seen staff leave and go to different roles and things like that. So we've had to spend a lot of time, and we've done a lot of investment as well in how we manage people remotely. A lot of the time that we've spent over the last couple of years has been teaching our leaders how to manage remotely as well, because a lot of particularly our operational staff, our sales teams generally are remote anyway, because sales people are always out in the field, out with clients and things like that. But operational staff, particularly call center staff, are very, very, often working in the office under the watchful eye of their team leaders and leadership. So having those people working from home has been a real shift in thinking for us, in how we manage them, how we track their progress, how we keep them learning through that process, being away from the office. And it's also helped us understand, you know, a little bit more about, you know, what are the outputs we expect and what are the results that we expect, rather than focusing a lot more on sort of the inputs that have been going into some of those roles. So it's sort of helped us manage a lot better and understand our people a lot more, but definitely also with, you know, health and safety and working from home and keeping people comfortable. That's been really, really important to us. And as we've sort of changed now and are coming into what looks like, you know, hopefully no more lockdowns and everything sort of trying to get back to normal, we're definitely moving to a more hybrid working solution, which, you know, at the start of the pandemic, we wouldn't really have thought was viable, but now it absolutely is, and I think it gives staff, you know, the best of both worlds. They can stay at home and get the benefits that come with that, or they can be in the office. But I think one of the things that we've noticed, especially with the operational staff, is, you know, if they are going to be back in the office, it's really important for us to make sure it's of value to them. So there's no point bringing them back in the office if they are just doing what they could be doing sitting at home on their own. So, you know, making sure we're engaging them from, you know, innovation sessions, making sure we're doing team bonding, team learning, all of those sorts of things are becoming more and more important to us to give people a lot more value for being back in the office. And then obviously looking at how we keep them safe in the office as well, which, you know, particularly with the Omicron virus at the moment being, you know, so easily picked up by everyone, that's a challenge in itself. So definitely, you know, we've made a lot of changes to how we operate, and why we do what we do. So it's been a bit of a challenge for that, but, you know, we've got a lot of learnings out of it. And I think our staff are happier now with the hybrid way, and, you know, they miss being in the office. Absolutely, they miss the people, they miss the engagement with other team members, but they do like that, you know, not having to commute and sit in the jam for a while. So yeah. So it's working out exceptionally well. And then we've also sort of taken the opportunity to sort of relaunch a lot of our what we've called a Step Up program. It's sort of an Expect More program where we really look at all of our operations across the business, all of our drivers and our vision, and look at how are we really driving that down to the team members, so they're feeling, you know, and living and breathing our vision and our goals and our charters. So we've taken the chance to relaunch now that sort of everyone's coming back in, saying, and it's a way of us saying, look, we want you to step up. We want you to, you know, we have big expectations now that the world's opening up again. To, you know, we've got a lot of growth ahead of us, so we need you to step up. But equally, we as a business want to step up, and you should have higher expectations of us as an employer as well. So we've looked at everything from, you know, basic role clarity, that sort of thing, to benefits, reward and recognition, all the way up to whatever, how we communicate, and transparency through all of that. So we've used that as an opportunity to re-engage the staff back in the office as well, but used it as a way of really driving our growth now coming out of pandemic.
Okay, thank you, Brett. I think, you know, during this pandemic, one of the most difficult things, even before pandemic, is to manage people, and to manage people in times where, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. I think it's sort of like rocketed, you know, the challenges. So unfortunately, we don't have an HR expert here to share with us how they, you know, or give us any tips on how to actually or properly manage the transition between, you know, the staff working full-time from home to transitioning to hybrid, or some of the companies even, you know, say, oh, you know, in future, we're going to just work from home, right? So anyway, thank you for the input. I hope your team come up stronger, you know, a lot more bonding during these challenging times. Next, can I invite Dato Dennis Chua, to speak about EV. EV is, you know, one of the buzzwords today. We have different thoughts about EV, but let's hear from our homegrown EV brand at Climo. Dennis, I've known you for a long time. I know you've always been in the battery industry, and you have actually persistently continued to build your EV bike. A quick question to kick off our conversation. What is the one thing that sets Climo apart from the other EVs that we hear, sprouting out everywhere, China, India, and all this?
Thank you, Rina. First of all, before I go into why I go into electric vehicle, especially electric two-wheelers, because I started my journey in year 2000 in the lithium battery industry. From year 2000, when I got involved into the R&D of lithium batteries, I managed to open supplies to during that time they don't call it drones. Today the term is drones. Like in year 2000, I started developing lithium batteries for drones, which I supply to Japan market. And from there onwards, because of lithium battery, is energy density is high, weight is lighter, size is small, and yet it can provide a very good power to operate your devices. And I managed to design lithium batteries for military walkie-talkies, and from there I go into designing batteries for test equipment, testers, and also power bank. So from there, 2000 until 2008, I start Climo, which using the batteries to run electric two-wheelers. I go into two-wheelers is also because of the Malaysian market. We have about 13 million of motorbikes, petrol bikes. The potential is very, very big, whereby each year, always Malaysia, people say the Malaysian market is small, but in terms of two-wheelers, every year there are about 450 new bikes on the road. Total, there are 13 million motorbikes. So in 2008, when I go into developing electric two-wheelers, I just want to make sure that it's compatible to a combustion bike, which is a very basic of speeds like 100 km per hour. You have to make it in such that very convenient to do charging by using a tripping plug. Tripping plug charging is like 4 hours. You can take use to 100 km. That was like 2008. I took almost 5 years to complete the R&D. So the key is really on the battery to be able to provide the two-wheelers on the road. And 2012, I managed to get the approval from our Road Transport Authority. And my first contract that I landed with is with KFC, providing the bikes for KFC to use it as food deliveries. And from there, the very basic of performance, 100 km per charge, until today, 2023, I managed to improve the technologies by improving the battery and also the motor to be able to have a fast charging, to be able to go one charge with 200 km. And going forward, you definitely need to improve the technologies of the electric vehicle, electric two-wheelers, by reducing the material used to build the two-wheelers. So from the technology standpoint, is always from the battery to be able to improve the product. And you have the technology, you still need to have adopters. Who will be our adopters? Those people who use bike to make to run it as a business. So with these two-wheelers today, when we provide the bikes for last mile delivery, we want to make sure that they use less materials. They have less maintenance compared to a combustion bike. They have to change lubricant oil, spark plug, sprocket. We try to eliminate all this by using electric. You don't have to take care of all this maintenance. It just as long as you pay for it, you start and go. And that is where we are today. And I would like to also to see that we can actually able to penetrate the market because easily for last mile delivery, there are easily 50,000 vehicles running on the road today. we hope that we can actually secure a sizable market shares for the deliveries bike. So thank you, Rina.
Hi, thank you, Dennis. I think, it has, come from just a bike, an EV bike, providing, the utility of bringing people from point A to point B. Now, the bike actually can be used for long range delivery guys, whom I understand will actually drive about 250 to 300 kilometers. And, you also mentioned that the bike now can actually be a utilities bike where people can actually start a business, right? I noticed recently the launch of Black Dyson, which you can have coffee and go. So those of you who are in the food and delivery business, I guess you can speak or connect with Dato Dennis for any business collaboration. Next we have Munirah, Dato Munirah. Dato, I remember you when I spoke to you sometime during COVID. You said that BPO has been an interesting industry. BPO industry, obviously, when you say BPO, the first thought is really from India. A lot of BPO started from India and all this. But I remember you mentioned that during pandemic, because BPO guys have to go to their BPO center to work, and when COVID happens, they're not able to go to, the office. So I wanted to hear, or I think all of us are interested to hear how you actually manage these challenges. Is your setup ready for that? Ready for the operators to work from home? And is there any learnings from your experience running this very challenging industry?
Thanks, Rina, for the question. Very passionate about it. Brings me back to March 2020, right, when everything just locked down. Well, I run an operations which has 1,000 employees. Just like Brett, we fall under the essential service in view of our customer management support, and we support Asia clients. So we've been pretty fortunate. In fact, the last 2 years, we saw a spike in terms of our headcount requirements. And the last 2 years has been a record-breaking year for us in terms of revenue as well as bottom line. And so it has its challenges, but the challenges were kind of more positive challenges rather than from a negative perspective. My challenge was actually how do I scale my business during a lockdown situation. Within a span of 3 months, I need to hire about 300 workforce to actually, as a result of an e-commerce client who was actually obviously ramming up during that time, because everybody was just going online and doing shopping online because they cannot go anywhere. So as a result, the transactions and the volume increases, and the customer support therefore becomes very key. And during the lockdown, it was challenging for us because we kind of need to pivot our business very quickly in terms of the way that we do our hiring process. Everything has to be online. Everything has to be essentially virtual. The way that we onboard the staff or the agents has also to be virtual. The way we conduct our onboarding and training again has to be virtual. So we've been pretty fortunate that in 2019 we went through a digital transformation initiative. So as a result, we did not have issues around having to move from our operations from work to the from the office to the home. So because everything was on cloud. So from day one of the lockdown, our people, there was actually no business disruption for us. So it's just that everybody has to kind of work and operate from the home. So we've been fortunate in terms of business was as usual. But just like Brett's situation, it is really managing the people and the employees. We have to be we have to supercharge our communication. We have to interact more with our employees because everyone is kind of getting lonely in their work from home, and the stress is compounded. because of having to deal with multiple competing demands while working from home. So for us, the learning really has been the ongoing communication has to take place. The employee engagement and employee satisfaction was our key priorities in times when we were in the lockdown situation, and paying close attention to how we humanize our interactions with our employees. And I guess that also works for us in terms of engaging with our clients as well. I think the key challenge, second challenge that we had was revenue protection, all right? Because our clients not focuses on Malaysia, but it's cross-border. So, our borders were shut until just 1st April. So having to focus on bringing in new business obviously pose a challenge where, you know, you can't visit the client, you cannot have that feel and the touch. But, you know, thanks to the virtual, people are kind of get used to it. So we kind of need to change the way that we manage the business from that perspective. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dato Munirah.
Yeah.
I think you know, it's definitely not easy, especially managing the existing staff, because you've seen them, you know them, onboarding new staff via virtual. I'm not sure if you ask them to stand up so you can see, you know, exactly the whole body, or just sitting down, right? So anyway, I think all of us, including the leaders, not just employees, actually face all these, you know, at some point you just feel so down, so depressed, don't know what to do, because it doesn't seem there's light at the end of the tunnel. But I'm so glad this is all over. So thank you for sharing with us. Hopefully we really can go back to the new normal. I don't think it's going to be the same, but we just, I mean, human beings are very, I guess we are quite agile in a way, we adapt. So next we have Alex. You know, it's just nice that you spoke about managing, you know, your employees and managing customers, your stakeholders. My next question to you, Alex, is that our customers will never be the same again, expectation-wise. Neither will the organization that you're running, right? Is there one or two things that you have done differently during the pandemic, and you know how actually, you know, you would perhaps manage your organization, your customers moving forward? Because I think using the same strategy and expecting different results is not going to work. So could you share with us any one or two of your learnings during this pandemic?
Well, certainly I believe it's a good time to learn. I mean, learning new things during the pandemic, because unforeseen circumstances happened. And then we certainly will, you know, spend 2 years, back 2 years time, listening to the public, you know, listening what the customers want. I think this is the most key important factor, that, you know, to provide a sustainable solution platform to the customers, so that, you know, we can excel together towards, you know, internally, or we talk about externally with the customers. You know, internally we talk about the organizations, you know, we're looking to what happened, and, you know, spending the first 3 months lockdown, you know, to decide and what to go through for the next quarter, and so, and bring us in a different solution into, you know, internally as in company wise, and providing a platform, a sustainable solution to the customers as well. And then, you know, looking back a year ago, things worked well, that, you know, I made a good decision on it, that, you know, both the customers as well as the internal management, well, likewise you say, it's never going to be the same, but, you know, making the correct decision, like, you know, what to change, and when to change. And I think this is the key important factors that bring us, you know, I believe most of us sitting here, you know, doing the correct decisions, like, you know, things that, you know, the pandemic that brought us to moving into endemic. Yeah.
Well, thanks, Alex. I think I guess all of us have to make a decision as leaders. I have learned not to regret the decisions I didn't make, because it was at that time that I had to make. So I can't consider, 360s, especially, when we say all of us are wise, but during critical times, do we have that critical wisdom to make a decision? So I guess we just have to think of it as, everything, no matter how thin you slice it, there's always two sides to the coin, right? So just do it, then at least you know whether it works or not, right?
Yeah. At the same time, looking at the bright point.
Yeah, correct. At least you mitigate the risk, right? You wouldn't go and do it like bodoh, then don't know what's going to happen, right? Sorry, I have to use that Malay word here, but okay, great. Thank you, everyone. And I think we are down to our last panelist, William. I purposely keep William at the last because I'm going to ask him a very interesting topic. We had interesting topic about fintech, about managing human, EV, and then the last thing on all the CEOs' mind, especially some Malaysian CEOs that I know, would be SPAC, or every one of us build a business so that perhaps we could exit, or we could leave a legacy. But even if the founders don't want to exit, the investors need to exit. So I would like to hear from William. William, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Has been, from the years that I've known him, has been always a corporate guy, doing a lot of cross-border M&A, and I think he has recently done a SPAC. There are many people coming to me, asking me about SPACs, but today I'll let William tell us a little bit about SPACs. So I think the SPAC has been around for a long, long time. Just recently, it's been like a hot cake. Well, we had a bigger SPAC, so-called from ex-Malaysian company Grab, and we have seen, the post-SPAC, sort of news as well. Now, William, I'm sure you mentioned that you have done a SPAC. I don't know whether you are on the buy side or the sell side, but the two other SPACs that you're working on, right? So obviously, you're looking for, if you're a sponsor, you're looking for a target. So assuming all our CEOs here, they are potential target for your SPACs, right? What are the one or two things that these target companies need to look out for if they were to consider SPACs?
Thanks, Rina. I think a lot of people are curious about how SPAC works. Okay, so I can go into detail later. But answering your question, right, there will be two scenarios. One is pre-grab and one is post-grab. All right, pre-grab, you can see the 2020 and 2021, almost every week, all right, or sometimes on a daily basis, you see a SPAC IPO on NASDAQ, right? And that becomes the buzz IPO. That means nobody even noticed what other IPOs are happening, right? Every day you see SPAC, and they raise money so easily, right? 100, 200 or even 300 million US, okay? So the smallest SPAC I remember is 50 million US, and nobody speak about 50 million US anymore, all right? So, and that happens in 2020, okay? Everybody jump on a bandwagon. And next thing that happened is you need to de-SPAC, right? You have a time frame of 12 to 18 months to meet that, okay? And if you can't make it, you are supposed to return all the money that you raised during the IPO process, okay, back to investors, right? All the funds that we raised, 116 million US, is in the escrow now, okay? Okay, so when that happens, what will the risk capital or the risk sponsor do? Okay, they lose all the money, right? So these are the reality now. Okay, this is year number 3 since the SPAC things happened. And then, of course, in Asia, we celebrate the biggest SPAC merger, right? At the time, it's also considered the world's largest SPAC combination, right? So Grab went in, okay, and they are valued at 40 billion US, okay? At one time, Altimeter SPAC was worth $17 per share, all right? Some investor of mine, there's some secondary advisor, they actually sell, okay, some shares of the Altimeter at $13 US, all right? I didn't invest, although I attend the meeting, all right? But now, if you see the last few weeks, okay, it just continued to drop, I think the lowest point, it drops to $3. So if you have participated before the combination, you have lost $10 per share. Okay, so what happened, right? A lot of people are starting to question the why, all right? And then last week, they have a new guideline. So it make it more difficult for people to just plug the figure on the air. You can see a lot of valuation, right? It's just basically willing buyer, willing seller. And US is a free market, right? Remember the junk bond days that people will just keep on pushing the price up, okay?
Yes.
So it actually happened again, okay, in the SPAC world. And fortunately and unfortunately for us in Asia, we already have a SPAC. So when the new guidelines come in, okay, for the new work in progress, we have to comply to the new guidelines. Means that identifying and also combining the SPAC with the company will be more difficult. All right. So I think for people who are considering a SPAC, there's two ways. One is whether you want to be the SPAC sponsor or you want to be the SPAC target. All right. And I would say for now, it's better to be the SPAC target. All right. Those SPAC who actually IPO, all right, end of 2020, this is a distress time for them already. They have to find a combination deal. They have to find a target and conclude, right? So this is a good time to negotiate. Okay, and of course, basically, a lot of people misunderstand that regardless of how much money is in the SPAC, let's say it's 100 million US SPAC, okay, it doesn't mean that when the combination happens, the 100 million cash will stay in the bank, right? Some investor will choose to redeem, all right? Some as high as 99%. All right. So, for example, if a SPAC approach you and tell you that, oh, I have 100 million US cash. All right. If I buy you for 200 million, all right, we will have a post market of 300 million US and 100 million cash in bank. Right. Of course, this is very sweet. But then in between, one thing happened. All right. If your deal is not sexy, if your deal's financials or fundamentals are not strong, okay, and people referencing Grab as a case study, investor might choose to redeem, right? So if 99% or 100% of the SPAC investor redeem, then you're stuck, right? You need to do a pipe, okay? You need to raise money to comply or to meet NASDAQ minimum requirements of public spread, okay? And that will put you in a very, very difficult position. Okay, so back to answer your question, to be a SPAC target, number one is a business model, right? Don't forget the investors are US based, all right? So no matter how well you do in Asia, the US investor may not know you, right? So your business model must be sound, okay? Of course, when you present a super app like Grab, okay, nobody will dispute that, right? They cover all verticals and all, okay? And recently, there's another Singapore company called Property Guru, okay, that successfully went on SPAC, okay? They are holding the price, which is good, okay? So I spoke to the founder, Steve Murphy, a few days ago. I think he's still in the US, okay? So we are due to catch up when he's back. But he actually mentioned that the experience is different, okay, because he was there and he experienced the entire, it's sort of like IPO to him as well, right? Although it's a SPAC combination. So slightly different because they are more focused on one vertical, which is the property platform, right? So you have one case study where Grab is a multiple or is a super app with multiple business verticals. And then you have Property Guru, which only focus on one vertical, okay? So it depends on investors. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, the Property Guru SPAC end up with 150 million US, which is very good. Okay. And therefore they can actually utilize the fund to grow the business. Okay. And one big difference between Grab and Property Guru is Grab is still losing hell of a lot of money. Right. If you look at the burn rate, if you look at how the business income, technically they are, I wouldn't say it in public forum, but technically they are insolvent because they have been surviving on capital investment, right? They are not, it's not by business income, right? So that means without additional capital, they cannot sustain, right? So therefore, when investors have a chance to to exit, they basically trash the share. Therefore, the share collapses like that, right? So this is two different fundamentals. Okay. So if you are if you want to be a spec target, all right, your business model must be really refined to be understandable by the US investors. Okay. And then secondly, of course, your financials and your traction. All right. So you can't be doing business for 10 years, still call yourself a startup, right? But selling future value or future bidders. You are not Elon Musk, right? There's only one. Okay. Right. So if you look at that, you must make sure that your financial standing or status is as good as the IPO company. All right. The new guidelines also highlight that already. Okay, it's not so easy to just say, oh, willing buyer, willing seller, you plug the figure from the air, right? So I think the financial status must be there. Okay, and of course, the final important point is the capital structure of your company now and during the combination or after combination, right? Most of the shareholders are locked up. Okay, even your early investors, right? So there's no exit for you and your shareholders, at least for the first 6 months or even 12 months, right? So you need to look out for that. And if you're unlucky, like what Grab deal happens, then all your shareholders might be stuck in the US listed company, okay, and you can't exit at all, right? Because a lot of investors might exit at higher price because the minimum price of a spec on IPO is $10 US. Right, so if fall below that, then that's everyone's headache. Okay, and in order for you to come back up is very, very difficult. All right, unless your company has the financial to support. Okay, the real business financial, I mean your business income. Okay, your net profit. Okay, to support your price. Right. So otherwise, I think that everybody will be realistic now. Okay, that aspect is not easy. There's no more the honeymoon. Okay, we're way past that 2 years of honeymoon. But we are also excited to see what will happen to the first Singapore spec. All right, the Vertex. Of course, is supported by the GLC. Okay.
The big boys.
Yes, the big boys. So it's a bit different. I would say that it's good for, Singapore is always very consistent and also stable. Okay, and they also want to show that, see, our spec is different. It's concrete. Okay, but let's see what's the result. Time can tell. Okay, and of course, Hong Kong is also talking about it. UK is also talking about it. Malaysia is also talking about it. Okay, but so far Malaysia has not been performing in terms of spec. We have one or two. Okay, both in the oil and gas industry, and the rest are actually close down and return the money to investors. Okay, so that is Malaysia. So for aspiring people, go for it. If someone, if a spec approach you, but beware of the trap. The money in the bank is not yours until the completion of the exercise where nobody redeem. All right, otherwise you might lose all. Okay, thank you very much. Back to you, Rina.
I think the Chinese always say, right, so I guess that's good and bad for everything. Even just vanilla IPO doesn't mean that your share will continue to go up. I think the pre and post IPO task is equally heavy. I think it's heavier based on my experience post IPO, because how do you keep the share not tanking? How do you make sure it not just sustained but it keeps going up, right? If not, I think all the investors will go after you. So thank you so much, fellow committee members, for your insights, especially regarding your own industry and your personal experience during this challenging time. I think we are about time, but maybe I would like to take one or two questions from our attendees. I think some of them left messages on the chat box, some actually from Maldives, from Singapore as well. So you guys can actually reach out to them. Fellow committee members, do you have questions for each other? If not, I will be the one asking. Any of you are planning for IPO or looking at specs? Anyone has a question? No question.
Maybe I don't have questions, but Rina, I see that within ourselves, even the Malaysian chapter, we can actually collaborate and work together. There are a lot of synergy, and we can actually leverage on each other. Like Alex Fong, we definitely we are really a business partner with IPAD, but I can see that a lot of other members can leverage on each other ecosystem. I think it's timely for me to host a dinner. So I will announce when. Maybe I can work with Rina and Gary to see when is the best day to actually host the dinner.
Sure, thank you, Mr.
I guess
Chan.
that's
I think
the
we should
most
meet
proper
physically.
question.
Well, I think is nothing beats really getting to know the person, whether you have a business now or later, but you know, building a friendship, especially across different industries and different part of the world, is something really meaningful. I find it meaningful at this age, you know, to have good friends that I can call on whenever I go to a different place. So if there's no question from everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed the casual chat that we have with our committee members. We look forward to having more such conversation, hopefully face to face. So Gary, is back to you, but maybe I think we can all have a group picture. Although I much prefer, you know, face-to-face group picture than a Zoom picture. Gary, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
So maybe all of us can switch on our camera just to have a group picture for remembrance.
Okay, so okay, everybody, get ready.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay, one more. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So
all right, great. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great evening, and we look forward to meeting everyone in KL, in Hong Kong, hopefully. And Gary, take care in Hong Kong.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Winner. Thank you,
All
everybody.
right, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.